is visible on you.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Fine. Also, the board I have shared. So today we are going to start about the surface and volume integral, and immediately after that, yeah, all these things are qualitatively description has been given as far as the syllabus is concerned. But if you have more and detailed queries, anyway, you will know this thing in your calculus for engineering course. But still, I will give you the proofs for this separately as an additional material, but not to be done in the class because it is not in the scope of the syllabus as far as the physics for engineers is concerned. So we'll start with the surface and volume integral, but before we start the surface and volume integral, we will start with easier motivation
Sir,
to study this thing. Yes, please.
sir, sir, can you
Yeah,
please
somebody.
send a few questions for our batch, Navamadhavan sir batch,
Yeah, yeah,
so
I
that we
am.
can practice?
Yeah, yeah, actually, yesterday I was telling to one of my student from C1 slot that I am making a practice problem set so that both of you can practice 5 questions from module 1 and 5 questions from module 2. Today evening I am supposed to, I am almost, it will be ready. So just give me some time. It will be there.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
So the motivation, I'll start it from uh, fundamental theorem of calculus. Fundamental theorem of calculus has many versions and probably you have heard of it. Let me write down the statement and probably you can recognize it. Let f be a real valued function, be a real valued function on a closed interval. What is the closed interval? A comma b, and capital F an antiderivative. Antiderivative of f in the interval this. So what do I mean by antiderivative? The meaning of this thing is f prime of x, capital F prime of x is f of small f of x. Then this is the theorem. Then f of x dx limit a to b. Can anybody tell me what I am going to write here? F of
Capital
F
F
of
b.
of
x,
x.
b
Okay, for
minus
B
capital
minus F
F
of
of
B.
A.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the statement, and many times if you see different books, the origin comes actually from both the contributors of the, I mean the both the strongest pillar of who has developed calculus mostly. One is British and one is German. So Newton, Leibniz. So it is called Newton-Leibniz theorem also called Newton-Leibniz theorem. Yeah. So this is, I mean, pretty much uh, spontaneous to see this kind of thing. Like f prime of x is df. I mean, as if you can see what is there in the integrand has been given. It is nothing. It is nothing but if you want to write it down, it is nothing but df by dx and dx. And as if you are doing an integral of this thing, and it is coming like this. I'm giving you a very rough cut version. There are much more refined arguments to prove this. This is a rough version of very loose way of saying the theorem. Of course, it is not much more profound and deep, but yeah, of course, it is not in the scope, and I cannot spend more time to discuss this thing. I just want you to give a motivation that if these things happen, now I'll put all this thing in the backdrop of our current existing knowledge of gradient, and then you will see the similarity between the two statement. I'm going to write a new statement. the natural for the above theorem in the case of uh, gradient is as follows. I write down the statement immediately, we see it. It will be like gradient of a function dot dl, the line integral between a single integral is a line integral, a double integral is a surface integral, a triple integral is a volume integral. So it will be like f of, okay, let me use not the notation f, already you should not be, let me use it another scalar, let me use a t, you can think t as a temperature also. This is L, so it should be vector, and so T at B minus T at A. Now tell me, is this familiar or not? I mean, from what I have done in the previous one, do you find a similarity? If you just put it side by side, that is why I have written it in this format. Can you see this thing?
sir.
At least immediately see this in a format when you are talking about the gradient. Gradient, you immediately bring it down is a one dimension. In one dimension, it will be nothing but dt by dx into I cap, and the position vector here L. So it is nothing but x I cap. So if you make a dot product, it will essentially you are giving this thing. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Good. So essentially, the idea is I have a line integral. So the deeper understanding is I have a
Sir,
line integral, and yes, please.
sir, like dot dl, is that dl, sir?
That is dl. That is L is the. Let me erase it and write it properly. So L is the position vector. L is L vector is nothing but your R vector. You can think of it in easier Cartesian version. If you are looking for a Cartesian version, in Cartesian version. Of course, this theorem is much more, I mean, this theorem is much more profound. It does not depend on any coordinate system. It can be spherical polar coordinate system. Accordingly, it will change. And accordingly, this thing is also changed. That is why I have written for easier understanding. L, you can think of L as this. Let me write it more precisely. You can think L as like this in Cartesian version. Suppose it will be polar version or spherical polar version, something else will come. But the underlying meaning is same. I have a antiderivative, I am doing an integral, then I will get the value of the antiderivative at the boundaries. These are the boundary points. Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
So that is the crux of the whole story. I mean, forget about the symbols and other things. Whatever I will be doing inside integrand, I will be getting at the value at the boundary. So I don't need any information in between. If I do this calculation in the left hand side, it is an equivalent statement if I do a calculation right hand side. So of course there are many examples are there, but again, as I have said, this is beyond the scope of this syllabus. I will post it separately in a 5 minutes or 6 minutes video, so that each one of you can have a better understanding. And that is again, it is an additional material. This is not related. I mean, this is not, I mean, at all not necessary for this course. Yeah. Now from here, if we have an understanding of this, I can go immediately to the surface and volume integral, and which I actually need to talk about Stokes theorem and divergence theorem more than surface and volume integral. Our goal is to do for Stokes theorem and the divergence theorem. So let me write down our goal, so it will be clear why we have done these things, the gradient, divergence, and all this stuff. the physics course, because mostly these are the mathematics. Essentially, you will learn these things in the calculus for engineers. So why we are doing this? So our goal is you have a notion of gradient, divergence, curl. This is the first thing. This is the first thing. Then you have a notion of the surface and volume integral. So that means you have line integral also. Line integral also. Line integral just now we have done. Once we have this thing, then we can have Gauss's theorem and not slash and Stokes theorem. Stokes theorem. Once we have this Gauss's theorem and Stokes theorem, probably I will try to complete it because I have to cover it. And once we have this, then Maxwell's equation in in yeah in differential operator format. That is the immediate thing. Once we have it, then electromagnetic wave equation. So this is the goal. This is our goal, and that is why we are studying all these things. Is it clear to everybody now where we are standing? We are now at this juncture. We are now at the juncture of the surface and volume integral. Here we are. Today we will be doing this, and probably we will be doing this. Is it clear where in which path we are going to lead now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I'm going to the next page. Can I go to the next page?
So 1 minute, sir.
So what is the last red color cloud, sir? Maxwell's equation in?
Maxwell's equation in differential operator format.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, in the second you have written surface.
Surface and volume integral. After that, line integral.
Okay.
Line integral, what we have done just now, a fundamental theorem of calculus.
Done, sir.
Sir,
Okay, good.
the
Yes.
last one, Maxwell equation in
Maxwell's equation in differential operator format. Differential operator. Yeah. Differential operator format. Because Maxwell's equation already you have learned into your plus 2 level syllabus, but everything, if you remember, you have learned in terms of integration. So integral format. So we will do just the opposite format, which is very a good reason to understand
Done, sir.
the electromagnetic wave. Good. So let us go from here. Good. What we are going to do now is okay. Quickly before I go there, uh, surface volume integral. A very quick introduction. It's not a so surface integration will mean a double integration. A double integration is the meaning of, let's say I have a function. I do a suppose some variable a1 b1 a2 b2. So this is a kind of a surface area. A double integral you can think of as a surface integral. And similarly, when I am talking about the volume integral, it will be again relevant if I have three variables. So a1 b1 a2 b2 a3 b3. This is a volume integral. A very rough cut version, but your understanding should be clear that this dx by dy, it is a prototype volume, whereas dx, dy, dz represents this dx into dy is a prototype surface, dx, dy, dz is a prototype volume. Just like dx is a length interval. So if I multiply two length intervals, so it will give you a surface area. If I multiply three length intervals, it will give you a volume in that sense. Now, what we are leading, we need the Stokes theorem and divergence theorem. So the Stokes theorem and divergence theorem comes in the fundamental theorems of divergence. So fundamental theorem of divergence. Let me write down the theorem and then I will explain what it is again in a qualitative version. Of course, let me write it.
Sir, sir,
Please
could you
tell
go
me.
up for a second, sir?
Yeah.
One sec, sir.
Please note it down.
Done, sir.
Yeah. By the way, once you are having a notion of a surface integral, again you can think of this. This will be a dot product, and this will not be a dot product. So a better understanding is that. So let me write it down here in a small format. So it should be. I will write in future one symbol of integration, but if I put a s, then you can understand this is a surface integral or it is a double integral. And I have a vector field A dot ds. ds is nothing but dx dy. A is another vector field. So this is a kind of a surface integral over the surface. And this is also, it has also a name, and this name you are already familiar with. Can anybody say where you have seen this kind of object? In
So
your
when we calculate flux,
very
Oh,
good.
flux.
So it is actually flux. It is actually flux. So this is an example of a surface integral. This is an example of a surface integral. Exactly, will come. And similarly for the other thing, let me write down it here. Let me write down it here. Here, I will write again a integral sign, but I will write a notation V. The notation V will represent that it is a Weber volume, that means dx, dy, and dz, and I have a scalar function and dv. dv will represent dx, dy, dz, and t is the scalar function, exactly in the same format. So this is will be your volume integral. So essentially, we are going to see this thing in the fundamental theorem of divergence and fundamental theorem of Carl.
Sir,
Fundamental theorem, yes, please.
so why can't T be a vector?
Because where is this thing? What thing you will take it as a vector? I mean, t is, if you don't take t as a scalar, on what basis you will do the integral of this thing? Here, if I have a dot product of a vector, then only the integral will come in this format. If I don't have, I mean, I can have a vector also, but t cannot be a vector. T can be a scalar of this format where inside the vector is there. Let me write it down in this so that you can understand the answer of your question. T can be something like this. You want a vector field to interplay. Of course there is, we will see that. But it should be coming into this format. Are you getting the
Yes,
point?
yes, understood, sir.
Yeah. We will see
Thank you.
that. We will see that. The moment we go, we will see that.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, ds is dx comma dy, right? So, like, what is A? A is
A is a vector field. I have given
Vector.
arrow.
Okay, sir.
A is a vector field. A is a vector. I given arrow means A is a vector field. Yeah. So yeah, fundamental theorem of the divergence. What you are going to say? I'll write it in both the formats. Divergence of a vector field. Divergence of a vector field over the volume d tau. By the way, you know this notation tau. Tau is a Greek letter. Do you know this thing? Those
We
who do
use
not
in
know,
talk.
yes, correct. The same thing. The same thing. It's a Greek alphabet. The same alphabet you use in torque. Very good observation. So they also use it for the notation of a volume. Good. So this is over the volume V. This is over the volume V. That means it is a triple integral on the left hand side is equal to a surface. I will tell you each of the symbols why I have given a circle there. Now the vector field is
Closed
A.
integral.
Very good. Already you know this thing.
Sir, it is over a closed area, right?
Yeah, correct. Over a surface. Over a surface. Over a surface. Yeah, good. So left hand side is a triple integral. Right hand side is a double integral. So I am going. My input is a triple integral. Actually, and my output that I'm going from a triple integral to a double integral. You can sense the overall idea in this way. If you wanted to write the thing in more mathematical, I mean, not more mathematical, it is enough mathematical. I'm saying if you wanted to write in different notation, instead of divergence, you can put it this format also. The Nabla notation operator. You can write it d tau over the volume over the surface. You can write it down. So right hand side is a flux. Now I'm going to give you, rather I can prove this thing, but the proof is not the part which is in the syllabus. So that is the additional material which I told you that it will be coming to you in a later time, not now. I try to interpret this thing, what you can take it from here. What is actually the meaning they are going to tell? Somebody has a question, I guess. Yeah, tell me something.
Sir, sir, why
Yes,
is the
please.
surface area alone a closed interval?
Yeah, I'm going to say that. I'm going to say that. So let us say about uh, what is said. It says the integral of a derivative. Okay, let me write it down rather than saying the theorem says the integral of a derivative. Integral of a derivative. Now, in this case, what is the derivative? It is written here. Just identify that. What is the derivative?
Divergence.
In this case, the derivative is divergence. So in this case, divergence over a region. What is the region? This region is the volume region they are talking about. Over a region, in this case, in this case, volume is equal to, let me change the color, is equal to, is equal to what? Is equal to the value of the function, the value of the function at the boundary, at the boundary. In this case, what is the boundary? In this
Is
case,
it
what
the
is the boundary?
surface area?
Is it the? It is the surface area. It is the surface area. In this case, the surface area. In this case, the surface area S that bound the volume. Such a profound statement. Now you can understand such a profound statement. Why? It is essentially talking the same thing. What you have learned the fundamental theorem of calculus. We are trying to generalizing that, isn't it? I have a derivative kind of thing. In this case, the derivative is the divergence, and on the right hand side, I have the value at the boundary of the same function. In this function is the vector field A, which is a vector valued function, and I am taking the value at the boundary. Now, in which sense I am talking this as a boundary? Because it is a volume. If I tell you the meaning, so it will be look like this. Let's say I have a vector field example. Of course, I will not compute the example just for your understanding. Again, qualitative. Suppose I have a vector field A like this. J cap. Immediately it should come to your mind, okay, this is a very weird vector field, because how does it look like? Because now I have given in 3 coordinates, and now both of them as function of x, y, z. Of course, immediately don't go by that. It will be much more difficult to visualize it. Later, don't try to visualize the vector field. Rather than try to understand the different question, what is in the context of this volume integral and the surface integral? Now, what is the volume and the surface? I have to give you the picture. The picture is like this. Your x-axis, your y-axis, your z-axis. I will draw the volume. Now, what is the volume? The volume is nothing but a cube, like a Rubik's cube. Yeah, let me draw. Okay, the red color should be there, so it doesn't matter. So now you can see I have the volume. This is the volume, and I can calculate the divergence of the vector field over the volume. And similarly, I can calculate the flux of the vector field, which is the boundary of the volume. Now, in this case, what is the boundary of the volume? The boundary of the volume is the surface. There are 6 surfaces: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are you getting the point?
Yes, sir, but why have we taken it as a cube
No, no,
specifically?
this is an example. You can change the example. I am giving you,
Okay.
this is my prototype problem. In this prototype problem, what is the meaning of the volume and surface integral? That I am trying to emphasize to you. So in this case, the volume
Okay, sir.
integral is the volume integral the over volume dx dy dz, because you can understand what will be the volume of the cube. And similarly, you have a square, this surfaces, so immediately you can calculate the surface integral for each of the 6 surfaces. If you add it them, if you add it up them, and then you can see that whatever the number you will get. So both cases you will get a number. Are you getting the point? Here you will also get a number, here you are getting a number. So both numbers will be same. And somebody asks why it is a closed surface. Now in you see these surfaces are the closed surface. While I'll be talking about a volume, the boundary of the volume we will understand as a closed surface. Are you getting the point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can I go to the next page?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think I have written page 1. That should be page 2. Yeah. It should be page 2. Okay. So the okay, I will do it later. The gist. Let me do the fundamental. Okay, this theorem, I should go back and note it down. This theorem is the known as, that is in one important thing you should know, and that we should go it over here. So let me write it down very boldly. This is been done by Gauss. Gauss's theorem. Many times they call it divergence theorem also divergence theorem. So please note it down. This is called Gauss's theorem, and this is also called divergence. And you exactly will see why I call this as a Gauss's theorem, because you have a notion of the Gauss's theorem in your elementary school days, that where you have read it in the electrostatic. You will see it soon. Gauss has done it, and also it is called Green's theorem. But anyway, let us not go by the names. Gauss's theorem enough will be enough for you to understand. And also it's called divergence theorem. This fundamental theorem of divergence.
So,
Yes.
sir, why do we put qualitative in the brackets?
Which one? Oh, qualitative in the bracket,
Qualitative.
because qualitative and the bracket, because I am not proving this. It can be proved. It is not just a statement. It is a theorem. When I say something as a
Okay.
theorem, you should understand that I can prove it. But in my scope of the syllabus, I immediately cannot do it, which I will do it as additional material, which I have promised. So that is why the qualitative. So yeah, it is a
Got
way
it.
of,
Got it.
it is a way of my, I mean, you can see it is weird way. As much as I try to be perfect in my way of writing, yeah, it is not that I am 100% always successful, but I try my best. Okay. So fundamental theorem of cards. Not of, it should be for. This is also called, okay, what is this also called? I will tell it later. First, let me write it down. Initially, it is a surface integral called dot let me note it down first. So left hand side, it is a surface integral, and right hand side,
Line integral.
line integral. Line integral always, okay, line integral. So it is over a line, and this P represents the line. Also, you can think it can be called as a path.
Perimeter.
Yeah, it is like a path. So that is why the notation P I have used. Nothing very sacrosanct. So if you wanted to write it in another notation with more symbols, so you can write it this version also, uh, using the nabla. So del cross A dot ds is equal to the line integral, not small p, it is a capital P, sorry, it is a capital P, and yeah. Now here, what is this thing? Let me, what is the meaning of this thing? I will again write it in the same way. By the way, I forgotten to written qualitative. This theorem tells that the integral of a derivative, integral of a derivative, tell me in this case what is this? What is the integral of a derivative? In this case called, in this case called, over a region. What is the region? A surface patch S, a surface patch S is equal to the key, equal to the value of the function at the boundary. In this case was the perimeter of the patch, the let me write it, perimeter of the patch, that is the line. So it is a closed line. So again you will see this, the idea, the integral of a derivative over a region is the value of the function. That's the key idea from the beginning. So it starts from the fundamental theorem of calculus, and we are applying it for different cases. Initially you have applied for the gradient, then you have applied for the divergence, and in the last you are applying it for the curl. So very smooth transition. The concepts you are understanding and the same concepts you are applying on a fundamental concept, that concept is the fundamental theorem of calculus for different cases. So in this case, what is this line integral? Can anybody say? Like in the previous case,
It's
you
a
have
loop.
it is a loop. So that loop also is called a circulation. It's also called a circulation. Correct. So the idea is correct. So circulation. So more detail you will get it from the another video. So where I will in depth give you the proofs of the each of the theorems and more and more idea. Here I will try to illustrate with an example like in the previous case, so you have a qualitative idea about what we are going to talk.
Scroll a bit if you don't mind.
Yes, can you say so? I mean, what somebody is asking something?
So can you scroll a bit up?
Yeah. Have you written it? Yeah, let me. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So
Yes, please.
the circulation part, Arun could explain.
Yeah,
I didn't get that.
I am going to show it to you with a figure, with a picture. It will be easier. Much. So here,
Okay, sure.
let us take a vector field again. J cap. K cap. Now with this, I am trying to draw. Okay, let me enlarge it. Otherwise, I will not have an idea how much big I am drawing it. So let me fulfill the page. Yeah. And here, my surface is this. This is my surface. So already you have a answer, I guess, by the drawing figure, what I mean by a circulation, but anyway, I will tell you. So let me finish the drawing. Yeah. So what I am going to do, I am going to compute over the, sorry. I am writing the wrong thing. Yeah, extremely sorry. I'm going to write the curl of this vector field over the surface, that I can immediately do it. How I will do it over the surface means now you can see the surface. What will be the prototype surface here? Can anybody tell me? Whether it will be dy dz or dx dy or dx dz?
dz dy.
Correct. Immediately you can understand because I have a prototype length in the y direction, prototype length in the interval in the z direction. So of course surface will, if I want to compute it, it will be dy dz. I am not telling you how to compute it rather than have an overall idea. So this I can compute, and similarly if I don't want to compute this thing, I can compute equivalent thing. What is that? That is A dot dl over the patch P. Now, what is this circulation? This is the circulation. Let me.
So the red lines is the P, the path.
Yeah, red line is the
Okay.
path. Correct. So now you can understand. So it will go from this point. So let me highlight the point so that easily you can understand while you will compute the second part how it looks like. You can take it from here. It goes to here. Then it goes to here. Then it goes to here. It comes back to the same point. That is why it is a circulation. Are you getting it pictorially? The idea?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Good.
Yes, sir.
is there a reason it's in the anti-clockwise direction or?
No, no, no. It is not. I have given that it. In this case, I have given it in this way. There is no other reason. Okay.
Yes, sir.
The way you will take it, according to that, the sign will be getting in which direction you will do it. So that's the standard thing. So if you do it in another way, you'll get a different sign. But at the end of the day, everything will be cancelled and everything else will be, I mean, compensated with something else. So both the cases you will get the same number. Here you will not get something positive. Here you will not get something negative. That is my, I mean, essential idea. Whatever number you will get it on this side, you will get the same number in this side. But you have to choose a particular orientation and particular sign. Is it clear?
Sir, here, what is like the meaning of circulation, sir? Like, what does it represent?
Yeah. So let me write it down. So let me write it down in a little bit more way. I actually wanted to say the both of the meanings in a different context, but yeah, I will just roughly say it. Otherwise, I cannot finish the whole thing. I mean, the question is very good. I have a very good answer for that, but I don't have the enough amount of time to explain it to you. Try to understand in this way. Suppose I have a region. I have a surface region. Again, I'll show you with a pictorial sense. I have a surface region like this, where the fluid flow is going in a circulations like this, small circulations, like that. So like I have a vortices on a river or rafting in the stream, something like that. Now, if I wanted to compute it, the overall flow of the whole, I mean, region, in this case, the region will be surface, that is equivalent of computing not the independent circulations, or rather than the value at the boundary of the flow. Are you getting it in a qualitative manner?
So once more,
Like
can
the
you say that
collective value of like each particle's curl will also be in the boundary, sir.
No, 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 not like that. Curl will, I will take the boundary which encloses the curl. Think it in this way. The curls are nothing but the whirlpools. The whirlpools in a river is there. I take the surface. The surface means I will take the perimeter which encloses the whirlpool. So independently, I will not calculate how much whirlpools are there. Rather than I will calculate the fluid flow. This vector field A in this example means the velocity of the fluid. Are you getting the point?
Sir, so like here we're combining whirlpools to an equivalent whirlpool which encloses all the whirlpool with
Yeah.
these same curls, sir.
So in this whirlpools, if you see, this is also a flux, isn't it? This is also a vector field. Some vector field dot ds. You already have an idea that is also a flux. I am not calculating the independent flux. Rather than I am calculating the vector field, which is in this case is the fluid velocity fluid flow over the boundary. In the boundary is nothing but the dl. And if I put a closed loop, that means it becomes a closed circular line, the circulation. Are you getting it?
So it's like the resultant vector of whatever is happening inside, sir.
Not the resultant vector, you will say, because it is not just a vector, it is a curl of a vector.
Oh, okay, sir.
It is curl of a vector, that is another vector, of course. Curl of a vector is another vector. So here the starting vector, in this case, the example is the velocity of the fluid, velocity of the stream. But the current of the flow is coming. That is the vector field. And to visualize the vector fields, you have an idea when we have drawn the vector fields, as if the motion of the fluid is going in that way. Something, suppose I have a fountain, if I have a vector field like that, so everything is coming out. So you have a visualization. Now, when I have a curl, you don't exactly understand what is the meaning of that. Now, I'm not talking about the curl, I'm talking the flux of the curl. I mean, this, not flux of the curl itself is another vector field, flux of that vector field. And flux of that vector field independently I am not calculating, rather than I am calculating the vector field over the boundary.
Yes, I got it, sir.
Yeah, fine. So I will go now to the next page, and again these things will be coming in a much more deeper sense, which will not be qualitative, but at present not for this class, maybe later you can see it as an additional material, and we will go to the Maxwell's equation. Somebody remind me how much time I can afford now.
Sir,
The direction of
9:45 the class ends.
9:45. At least I can show the Gauss's theorem, so it is quite good. Again, I think I have written a wrong thing, so it will be page 3. So yeah,
Sir,
sorry.
the direction of
Yes, please.
circulation does it depend on the negative or positive direction? Negative
No,
or
no, no.
positive of
It is.
the
No, no, no. It is not narrative. You are thinking that why I have taken it in this way rather than the opposite way. No, it is just a, I mean, schematic diagram. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So I will go for the page 4. Class 15. So the first equation, who will tell me quickly? Remember.
The closed integral EDS
Closed
equals
integral
Q by epsilon.
Q by epsilon.
The second one,
So line integral of uh,
P dot dl equal to
dl
nu naught I.
equals 0.
0.
Zero.
mu naught neck I.
B dot ds.
P dot ds equal to 0.
Equals 0.
0.
The line integral is mu naught I enclosed.
Yeah. Sorry. And the last one, who will tell?
I think it's E dot dl is the last one.
Yeah, tell me somebody. Somebody. Tell me. Right.
This should be
Right.
0, right?
So this should be 0.
So
E
we have a
dot dl
current
equal to
correction
0.
over here. No,
No, no, no. There are many other things. You are forgetting that E dot dl will be what? That is your the electromotive force.
Vt plus.
This is your calligraphic E. Remember the electromotive force?
Yes, sir.
This thing is in your class 2 level, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the Faraday's law will come from that. Correct. Just take your time to understand and remember and let me know. Don't be in hurry. Is it correct or not?
Sir, was there an additional term to this?
Yes, yes, yes. That will come. That is the Maxwell's contribution. That is the
Yes, sir.
That is the Maxwell contribution. That is why I say Faraday's law. I didn't say Ampere's law. Got it?
Yes,
So
yes,
it
sir.
is. Yeah. Good. Good that you pointed it out. But yeah. So it is a especially this one. Other things is not related to Ampere. This is related to Gauss's theorem of electrostatic, Gauss's theorem of magnetostatics. This is what. This is what law.
Faraday's law.
Faraday's law.
Next one will be coming. Which one is that? Anyway, let us not waste. Quickly go and see it in the light of the differential format. Gauss's law in differential operator format. See, this is the surface integral. Now quickly tell me from the fundamental theorem, QEN means enclosed. What is this thing in our
The
notation using the
divergence
divergence
of
theorem?
E into
Divergence
d tau.
of E into
D tau.
dl. We
Integration.
can't have d tau, right?
Yeah, volume. Correct, very much correct. Now charge.
So
Q-
volume density.
Yeah, it will be volume
Right.
density. So rho d tau over the volume. Is it clear? Is it clear for everybody? Charge density. This rho is the
Yes, sir.
charge density. So charge density into volume is the charge. Like in the mass density in the volume is the mass. It is the charge density in the volume is equal to charge. Is it clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Now symbolically, again it is a qualitative way. The proofs are much more rigorous. We don't want, just symbolically look into this case and this case. Overall, think it. These both are similar on the left hand side and right hand side, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you can take it out, just symbolically, not in a rigorous manner, I am saying, you can think this Gauss's law exactly in this format, rho enclosed by epsilon.
Upon epsilon naught.
Yeah. So this is the differential format of the Gauss's law. And similarly for the other equations, I will write down the differential formats, and from there we will go for the Maxwell's equation. And this wave equation is a vector wave equation, unlike the scalar wave equation you have studied in the strings. You can see the correlation between them. I'll stop it here. I'll stop the recording already. It is enough time you have given to me. Yes,
So
please.
what is
Somebody is
D?
asking something. Please tell.